Hi y'all, I'm Brenda with Blessings and Bread. Welcome to my garden. Today is May 12th, the day after Mother's Day, and I'm in my garden and actually going to harvest some vegetables today. So I'd like you to come along while I do that. And then I have some minor chores to do, maybe pull some weeds or something. But a biggie thing, you want to stick to the end. At the end, I'm going to battle the fire ants again, and I'm tired of messing with them. So today, I'm bringing out the hard stuff. So stick around. I'm going to combine this video with a video I made earlier in April. We went on a small trip to see the grandbabies, and I just didn't get the first one edited and posted before I left. So now I'm going to combine those two so you'll be able to see the progress firsthand of how my plants are doing. But I have some exciting things to harvest today. So come along with me while I work in my garden. Two of the plants my sister gave me were celebrity tomato plants. So these will be large tomatoes that I could use to make salsa or just to cut and make a BLT with. Nothing better than a BLT. I think I could actually eat just a tomato sandwich. All right, I'm going to bury these really deep. They are very healthy looking. They are going to be a good size to transplant. I'm going to pull off all of these little bottom parts, leaves there, or stems, and then I'm going to bury that. It's just about as deep as I can. Because my sister grew these, I don't have the problem of having those roots so root bound. Now, I am going to grow these on my arbor here that's made from a cattle panel. And as they grow, I'm going to train them to grow up my cattle panel. So, number one in the ground. And then also, another thing I need to do as they grow is as they keep putting out little starter branches, I will be pinching those off. So it will help the plant to grow bigger. Now, it's going to crowd. This plant right here will probably crowd that cabbage for a little bit, but that cabbage will come on and be gone in a few weeks, and then there'll be plenty of room for these tomatoes to fill out. I'll show you, I'm just pinching off some of those stems that are coming up there, and then I'm going to try to bury that up above those, and then in each of those spots, it should encourage some more roots to grow along that way, but I can bury these just as deep as I can go down. Those tomato plants look super healthy. My sister also gave me two really good looking bell pepper plants, and I'll plant both of them right here by my broccoli. These plants also look super healthy. These are called Mahogany Splendor. Oh, just the roots are just perfect on this. It's so nice to get a plant that hasn't been root bound in the pot. I'm planting these about 18 inches apart. I'm not real sure how far apart I'm supposed to grow them, but that's what we're going to do. We'll see what happens. I'll have to water those in before night, but pepper plants are now in the ground. And that'll be all the pepper plants that I grow. These are bell peppers. So now I have bell peppers, jalapeno peppers, and banana peppers. These are flowers that my sister grew in her greenhouse, and they are amazing. I have forgotten all that's there. Some status, I think, and then some coleus. I'm not sure. I don't want to lie about what's in there. I would have to ask her again what she gave me. But they're all going to go into pots and different places around. I want you to just see how nice the roots are here. How they're not, there's plenty of roots there, but they're not root bound. They're very soft and gentle. I love that about her plants. So much better than the ones I got from the gardener. And I don't think any plant you buy at the nursery doesn't come a little bit, most of the time, it will be a little bit root bound. This is a coleus, I believe. So I'm going to mix this status. I was right, that was status, and it's called mixed status. So I think I'm going to put 2 of those. I don't even know how big they grow. This pot may have to be sized down later in the summer. But a full plot. Well, now, actually, that one's getting a little root bound. But still, those, so I need to break that up. But it was getting a little root bound, and I should have went and got these sooner. I didn't really realize they were ready so early, and I waited until Easter to get them when I went to visit at Easter. And so they probably should have already been planted. But hopefully I'll get them in the soil and they will start growing beautifully. And then I'm going to put these in some other pots around the yard. So my chives are blooming and they're so pretty. And then also my thyme is also blooming. So this bed is very beautiful right now. Everything in this bed is beautiful except the rosemary. It still looks sad, and my ants are still there. I stirred them again today. If you've not seen my previous videos, go and watch and you'll see me fight my fire ants. This is just beautiful. That is my thyme. That thyme plant has probably been there at least 3, if not 4 years, and it just gets bigger every year. My onions continue to do great. I'm not sure whether these are still blooms on my blueberries or do I actually have some baby blueberries. My strawberry plants are also doing really well, and I did do a little more research, and the research said in the first year I should pick the flowers or the blooms and let the first year focus just on the plants growing and getting healthy. So I have started doing that. So I realize now there will be no strawberries this year. Today I'm going to harvest my onions, or at least most of them. And I don't know if you can see this, but these are absolutely the biggest onions I have ever grown. I have never grown an onion that big before in my life. Normally, if I grow an onion, let me pull one of these. This might be the size I get. This year, a lot of my onions are full-size onion like I would buy in the grocery store. So I'm super excited about my onions this year. I can honestly say the best crop I have ever grown of onions. And I'm harvesting all the really big ones today. I may leave some of the smaller ones, and then maybe they'll keep growing. Although onions are an early season plant, and it's going to get really hot this week. Unseasonably warm here in Texas. We're supposed to, in Dallas, they're predicting the first 3-digit temperature day of the year, and we don't usually get that in May. So I probably should just go ahead and harvest all of these onions. I'm being greedy because most of them are at least this big. And then a few of them got really big, but they're all a good size. These onions will be so much sweeter and better than the onions I get in the grocery store. I don't know why. Maybe it's in my head, but they sure do taste good when I use them in cooking. I'm just putting these in my clothes basket for now. Then I have a rack that I'm not sure where it came from even, but we have this rack, and I'm going to use it to lay these out on so they can dry out. And once they dry out a little bit, I will cut the tops off, but I will cut off part of the roots here, but I will not cut them all off because I want some of them to stay. But I will cut the tops off and then cut part of the roots off. But I'm going to let them lay, at least dry out for a day before I even do that. I've laid my onions out here on a rack. You probably can't see the rack, but it's going to give it some ventilation underneath. They're sitting on a black rack, and hopefully I will be able to maybe move these inside. They will not need to stay out in the heat. They need to be stored in a cool, dark place, but I'm going to leave them out here overnight at least. So the next thing I have to harvest today is my cabbage. Now, all the cabbages are not ready, but I have one that is massive. This is one big cabbage plant. Maybe the largest cabbage I've ever grown. I don't know what's causing this season to be so prolific. So let's see what happens when I try to pull this cabbage up. Nope, comes right up. And I cut off the bottom. Beautiful. Wow, there it is. That's one nice cabbage. I'll give you a glimpse of my tomato plants here that are also doing awesome. These are my celebrity plants. I went ahead and put a tomato cage over them, and then basically I've tied the tomato cage to my arbor. So I hope as they grow I can use the arbor and the tomato cage to help support them. They're just getting started though. I'm struggling a little bit to get my camera adjusted, but I'm hoping you can see this and I'm getting this filmed correctly. But if you will see right here in this, between these two stems, my tomato plant is attempting to shoot off another stem. And what I want to do as this grows is I'm going to pinch that off. Here's one that's a little bigger in between. But by pinching that off, it's going to keep my tomato plant from making so many spindly stems, and it will make it a stronger tomato plant. And you just have to watch as it's growing. In between, anywhere there's a branch that's come off, it's going to try to make another branch in between there, but you want to pinch those off, and that will help your tomato plant be a stronger, healthier plant. And I've been gone for about a week, and I can see that I've got several that have grown out that needed pinching off today. Yeah, there's another one. It's pretty big. and I would have rather pinched it while it was younger, but I'm still going to take it off. There's some down here as well. And those probably won't even produce tomato plants, but they're going to suck out a lot of energy to grow just the leaves. My broccoli plants continue to do well, and they're starting to put on little baby heads, but I do believe that if the weather really gets up into the 90s this week like they're predicting, that it will not make. I think it will bolt or it will shut them down, but we'll see. Maybe they'll survive the heat, and I'll get back and we can have maybe some cooler temperatures. Normally I'm through growing broccoli by the end of May, and here we are, we're mid-May, so if we weren't having these unseasonably high temperatures this week, I would have more confidence that this would work, but we'll just have to see. I did harvest all of my lettuce. This is where the lettuce was, and I've harvested all of it. I don't know if y'all are noticing these tall plants. They're throughout all my garden, and what those are zinnias. And they're just volunteer zinnias from where my seeds fell at the end of last year, and they're coming up, and I just haven't pulled them up. I am probably going to, I think most likely I'm going to plant some flowers of some sort in here anyway, so I'm just letting the zinnias go for now. These pepper plants are looking okay. I would like to see them kind of come along and kind of take off a little bit. Here's my beans that I planted, but they all did not come up well. So I think I'm going to maybe plant a few more, like do a second planting in amongst the ones that are already up, and see if I can't get maybe more beans coming up. They just didn't germinate well. I might have gotten a rain that washed them kind of up, and for whatever reason I did not get good germination on the beans. And I had even soaked them overnight to help them germinate quicker, but it didn't seem to help. Also wanted to show you my flower pots that I planted in my last video, and look how amazing they were doing. This again are the plants my sister gave me, and they just seem so healthy, and they're doing great in these buckets here, or pots. So I'm excited about those. I've never had maybe pots look so pretty and do so well. Now if I can just keep them watered, I'll do good. This is my lavender, and it's starting to put shoots out and getting ready to bloom, and it seems a little early for that to me. Normally I feel like I'm harvesting my lavender in June, and then with the hotter temperatures this week, I'm afraid it's going to bloom while I am gone on my trip. But hopefully when I get back, it'll still just be blooming, and I'll be able to harvest that when I get back. I've had a good harvest off of just this much lavender over the last 4 or 5 years, and it's easy to harvest, and I was hoping to make a good video of that. So hopefully that will still be blooming and ready for harvest when I get back from my trip. I am now ready to battle these fire ants today. So I'm tired of stirring them, and I'm ready to poison them. So I'm going to show you how, when I finally get fed up and use poison, how I treat fire ant mounds in a vegetable garden. Okay, I have a 2-gallon watering can here that, as you can see, I've marked it just for ant poison, and I just keep this in the garage, Then I don't use it for anything but ant poison. So today I'm going to, this is what I'm using. I'm using Fertilome spinosad, and this is something you can use on vegetable gardens and fruit trees, and it's still safe. Now, there may be a waiting period after you use it before you can harvest the vegetables, and it seems to be different for each variety of vegetables, so you just have to look at the chart. It comes on the back, so there's lots of instructions on the back to tell you exactly what to do. For fire ant, and it kills other bugs besides fire ants, so this is good for other types of bugs. It calls for 2 tablespoons per gallon, and I'm just going to use the lid and call that a tablespoon. And I have 2 gallons, so I'm going to use 4 of these. So I'm going to put 4 tablespoons. And I did shake it up. It said to shake it before you use it. So I'm going to put about 4 of these in there. So I'm just going to kind of mix that up a little bit. And then it says to put 10% of this around the bed and the rest of it on the bed. So since mine is kind of up around the edge, I guess I'm just going to do a little bit here on the outside, and then I'm going to soak this bed with the rest of it. So that corner is done, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other corner where they were the other day. So I don't want any of them to get out and go back to the other side. Now I will say sometimes it takes 2 treatments of this to really kill them out. But I try not to use poison, but today I had just finally had enough with the fire ants, and I've stirred them too many times. They were not going to leave. So they are going to get the serious treatment today. So hopefully this will be the end of my fire ants. I'm so glad you stayed to the end for this video. Thank you for watching, and I really had a great time. I'm excited to have such a great harvest. I know that's a blessing from the Lord, that the weather and the temperature and the water and everything worked out just perfect to give me such a great harvest. And I do give God the glory for that. And I hope that you will join me the next time I'm in my garden, on my porch, or in my kitchen.